mineral nutrition, right? An introduction to macro and micro elements. So, at the top we have the elements, right? These are the nutrients in soil, right? Then we have macro elements and micro elements. Macro elements, these are large amounts, right? They are in large. Macro elements, these are large amounts, right? Then micro elements, that's the MICRO. Micro elements, these are the trace amounts, right? Then the macro elements, the one with MACRO elements, macro elements, is broken down into major elements, right? Major elements and what? And minor elements, right? So let's look at it. So macro elements or other essential elements for normal growth are CHO, and can be found in air and water. Macro elements, let's look at the macro elements, right? So macro elements required for plants to thrive. They are used in relatively large amounts, right? And we have micro elements. Micro elements not needed as much as macro elements. So these micro elements are used in small amounts. The same definition applies to minor elements, right? So forms in which elements are taken up by the plant. So we have major elements. Major elements, we have N, and we have what? We have P, right? We have K, right? And yeah, then minor, we have what? We have minor, we have minor elements, we have what is it? We have Ca, which is calcium, we have Mg, which is magnesium, and we have S. So that S, I forgot. What is it? Then we have micro elements. Micro elements, we have Fe, right? We have Cl, we have Zn, we have Mn, we have B. I think B will be boron. And let me see, Cu, and we have Mo, right? I think that basically, yeah, that's what we're going to use. Let's look at the category, the definition, and the elements, right? So we have the category, we have macro elements, right? Macro elements, these are needed in large amounts, right? We have your nitrogen there, phosphorus, potassium, right? Right? These are the major macro elements, right? If we go on to minor macro elements, remember above we had major macro elements. These are nitrogen, phosphorus. So basically you have essential plant nutrients, right? You have macro elements, and these are the ones that are needed in large amounts, right? We have the primary, which is also known as the major macro elements, right? These are your NPK, which is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, right? Then we have the minor macro elements. These are the secondary macro elements, right? We have calcium, which is Ca, we have sulfur, which is S, and we have magnesium, which is Mg, right? Then we have micro, we have micro, we have micro elements, and these are the trace amounts, right? The trace amounts, we have Fe, right? We have Cl, we have Mn, we have Zn, we have B, we have C, U, we have Mo, right? Then we have non-mineral elements from the air or water, have C, H, and O, right? This is what we were talking about, the macro elements. We did them, the micro elements, we did them, the non-mineral from air and water, the C, H, O. Exam tip: macro elements are needed in small quantities, and macro elements are needed in large quantities, right? So forms in which elements are absorbed. So nitrogen is going to be absorbed as NH4 plus NO3 negative. Potassium is going to be absorbed as, right? So we have phosphorus going to be absorbed as that, calcium, magnesium, as you can see. The list goes on as we move down. Iron, chlorine, manganese, zinc, copper, boron, molybdenum. Okay, so you must know the symbol and the exact term for the element. Exam tip: root hair cells absorb water by osmosis. We know that. Okay, let's move. Macro elements and their roles. So we have nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen uses and details, right? Protein, nucleic acids, hormones, chlorophyll synthesis. Forms absorbed, right? That one. Deficiency, it will result in what if there is deficiency? Stunted growth, yellowing older leaves. This will show chlorosis, right? Toxicity, the excess of NH4 plus causes poor fruit quality or scorched leaves, right? That's the result of excess NH4 plus. Right? It results in falling leaves, poor quality fruit. Then we have phosphorus, right? We have the aspects, of the details. So phosphorus, it uses what? It uses ATP production, DNA cell division, seed production. Because it uses constituent of proteins, nucleotides, phospholipids, and ATP that promotes cell division, right? It improves fertility and seed production, right? Right. Then the form absorbed is that one, H2PO4. Deficiency purple leaves, right? Deficiency will result in purple leaves, purple discolored leaves, poor growth, right? And what? And yeah, and poor seed production. Toxicity, early ripening, right? Early ripening or excess crops. Small fruit spoil quickly, right? Yellow leaves. Then we have potassium. Potassium, it uses what? It uses enzyme activation, water regulation, stomata control, right? Basically, it regulates flow of soil, water. There's a catalysis reaction, okay? So it uses catalysis reaction for enzyme activation, protein synthesis, starch synthesis, and translocation, nitrite translocation, control of stomata, sorry, control of stomata. Hence, it is for water regulation and stomata control and enzyme activation, right? Then the form absorbed does K plus ions from soil, water, and toxicity does acidic fruit. Acidic fruit, right? Or squashed leaf tips. Quick revision concepts. The process description requires energy, right? So osmosis does water movement through membrane. Does it require energy? No. Diffusion is the molecule movement from from high concentration to low concentration. Does it requires energy? No. Active transport, molecule movement, low to high concentration. Does it require energy? Yes, it needs ATP, right? Passive transport, molecule movement from high concentration to lower concentration. Does it require energy? No. The forces in upward water movement as the root pressure, transpiration pull, capillary action, cohesion, adhesion, Adaptations to reduce water loss: thick cuticle, sunken stomata, needle-shaped leaves, hairy leaves, stomata on leaf underside, rolled leaves, night closure of stomata. Thick cuticle, but let's take 3, right? Hairy leaves, thick cuticle, sunken stomata, needle-shaped leaves. Let's just take those ones so that we don't take a lot of notes. Practice questions. Which is not involved in water movement from roots to leaves? That's gravitation. Gravitation is not involved in water movement from roots to leaves, right? Gravitation is simply the loss of water in liquid form. That's when the water leaves the plant, right? And it's not through water vapor, it's in the form of liquid form, right? So basically this one will be like a multiple choice question. They will give you other options like option A, option B, C, D, and you have to choose the correct option. Hence we took this from the previous questions. 2. Water vapor released through stomata is called. That water vapor that is released through the stomata, what is it called? It's called transpiration. Transpiration, right? Because the water is in the form of water vapor, right? But if it was in the form of liquid, we say precipitation. Can be precipitation, but here that's water vapor, so that's transpiration. Water absorption mechanisms in roots, right? Is what? Osmosis. Name 2 adaptations reducing transpiration. Thick cuticle, hairy leaves, sunken stomata. Let's take 3. Give 2 reasons. Give 2 reasons why transpiration is essential for growth. Why is it important for growth? Transpiration. Because it cools the plant, right? It aids nutrient transport, right? Transport mechanisms for minerals against concentration. What is the transport mechanism for minerals against concentration? Against. We are moving against concentration. That's active transport, right? So 7. Differentiate osmosis and diffusion. Osmosis is water through a membrane, then diffusion, that's any molecular movement. These 3 forces for water upward movement. 3 forces for water upward movement. We have root pressure, we have transpiration pull, and we have capillary action.